Hello, hello, Mom and Dad Meet World. Today we are working on a 2007 Acura TL Type S 3.5 liter V6 engine, and we are going to replace the spark plugs on this thing. So this front cover on this has two plastic rivets. If you use a small flathead and turn them to where they are flat, then it just, or vertical, it just pulls up. You can only turn them one way, so I had turned it before Dennis got the camera out, so I apologize, that was kind of quick. But we're just lifting and wiggling all of the cowls off so that they just pull apart. They're just little plastic clips that sit together. Nothing really hard to pull. That one clip, you see Dennis's hand along the top window seal right there. He pushed that down, and that helped us remove that. Some of the clips on my cousin's cover were broken, but most of them were in place, and we just wiggled them all loose and they popped out. Shouldn't take you more than a couple minutes. So we used a 10mm socket here to remove her battery terminal on the negative post. You always want to remove your negative battery post terminal just when you're working on anything with your car. Make sure that you give yourself plenty of safety and not have anybody get electrocuted. So what you see here is the front of the engine. We're doing the front driver's side first spark plug. They've got little acorn nuts on here. You'll see Dennis calls out that they're a 10mm. Just be careful not to drop those into your engine compartment, as dropping those into your engine compartment would not be fun. So you're gonna push this clip. There is a little piece you push in with your thumb here. So what I found is I was not able to pull the coil pack straight back, so I actually had to take out this coolant overflow reservoir. It's just one bolt for the bracket right here. You'll see me unscrewing it. It just took me about 2 to 3 minutes to just, get it loose and then pull it out by hand. Once I removed the bracket, you see there's just that one bolt right there. I went ahead and unscrewed the plastic cap and left that hose hooked up. And then I just lifted up that plastic reservoir for the overflow for the radiator and sat it on the ground. I kept it vertical so I didn't spill the liquid. So from there, you're just gonna pull the coil pack straight out and set it aside. If you're replacing them at the same time you do the spark plugs, which I recommend, we didn't here, but you should. You're gonna get your 5/8" spark plug wrench out, and you're gonna just loosen those spark plugs out and back them off. So you'll see here that we're using the 1/2" ratchet with the 6" extension, and it's because it's a really deep throw to get that spark plug out. Once you back that spark plug all the way off, you get it to where it's pretty loose. I remove it by hand. You'll see here as I slide the spark plug out that the end of the spark plug is actually pretty well burnt. The new spark plug, we're actually going to go ahead and install anti-seize on the end of it to keep it from getting overly corroded and having hot spots when you try to remove your spark plugs. If you ever have that problem, this prevents it. You don't need a whole lot, you just put a little bit on there. Also going to put some dielectric gel on the end of the spark plug. You'll see me do it to the others as Dennis was running the camera while I was trying to, not get my gloves overly dirty. So I put some dielectric gel on the end of the spark plug, a real thin coating right here, but I also put some back in the coil pack that we were putting back in. We were using her older coil packs because they didn't have them in stock and she needed to order some. But you always want to use dielectric gel to get a good contact point between your spark plug and your coil pack. So once you get done with that, you just install it in the reverse order, slide that right back in, and tighten it up by hand to start with. The key thing is, you see what I'm doing right there is I'm spinning it by hand. The reason I'm doing it by hand is because you don't want to cross thread your head. If you have any kind of corrosion or buildup, you can put it on a ratchet and force it in the wrong way, and you don't want to do that. So I got it all the way to the point to where it was just snug, and then I just tightened it up about an 1/8 to 1/4 inch and put the coil pack back in. What you'll see here is it actually doesn't go all the way back down, and the reason for that was because my spark plug socket, the boot actually came off on the end of my spark plug, and so I had to actually remove the spark plug back out and reinstall it. So this is me literally removing the spark plug and reinstalling it so that I can get that off of the end of the spark plug. Now, if your 5/8" socket has a really good boot on it, then you don't have to take it out. Mine is worn, so I make sure that it's in my socket when I'm putting the spark plug on, or I'm sorry, when I'm removing the spark plug out of the car, so that it doesn't just drop loose but then when I put it back in, I make sure that my boot isn't in the socket. So you'll see me throughout here probably pull the boot in and out, and the reason for that is because the rubber boot can't stay on the spark plug. It's got to be in the socket. So this is just Dennis showing you me going through, you know, new anti-seize, putting them in by hand. I'm cleaning off my gloves here so I can spin that, get a good feel for it. If your blocks nice and clean, like this car is, should be able to get them good and snug to where I really just need to give it a little torque, a little tension. That 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch, that 10 millimeter acorn nut goes right back on there, and it plugs right back in. So it's really just a rinse, wash, repeat for each of these as you come through. Although there are a couple things you run into as you get to the back of the motor that we'll show you that was pretty cool. So the third one was actually the exact same way, in and out. Before I went to the back, I went ahead and put the coolant in, and the coolant reservoir has a little plastic post at the bottom that just slides right down there through that little hole. It's just a guide point. There's also a plastic notch on the driver's side that slides right in. So as you'll see, I'll just kind of point it out here to you. It just notches in, and then you put that little bolt right back through, screw it in, and it holds it nice and tight. Just keeps it from rattling around so that it doesn't fall out in your car. Make sure you get that snug but not over tight. It is plastic. You don't want to bust the plastic. So to do the back, we actually had to remove the strut bar. So there's 3 12 millimeter bolts on each side that hold the strut bar in place, as well as a 10 millimeter bolt on the passenger side right here, right next to the purple clip that holds it in place. And on the driver's side, there's a couple 10 millimeter bolts, 3 of them to be exact, that hold the strut bar and housing in place. So you will see me remove these 10 millimeter bolts, and as I remove them, I'm setting them on the ground so that I don't lose them. Pick a secure place for your bolts, it's important. This right here is the fuse panel. We're just loosening it up to get it out of the way, as it's attached to the strut bar right now, and that's why we're unscrewing it. You'll see here in just a second, once we get these 12 millimeters out of here, that the strut bar doesn't want to come out. Also, this little plastic clip was a pain in the butt. I had to get some needle nose pliers on it and just push it through the metal housing. Now that I know it was just an easy push, just like a door panel clip, but initially I didn't see it, and it was in our way. You want to make sure you don't pull any wires out with the strut bar. So you see that just comes loose, and as that came loose, this whole passenger side of the strut bar came loose. The driver's side didn't, however, so we went ahead and removed one more bolt. That's where the third one was at, and when we removed that bolt, we still found that it was tight to get that strut bar out, and it's because the plastic fuse panel actually slides over with a little clip right there that you kind of push and lift up. So now we can lift that strut bar away, and we can actually get to the back of the housing. That whole assembly removal took us about 5 to 10 minutes once we realized what we were doing. That bolt housing in the back that I'm pointing out right now was underneath, and you'll see a quick video at the end of me having to reinstall the strut bar twice, a little blooper, if you will. So now that we've got the strut bar removed, we removed the 10 millimeter acorn on the first spark plug that was closest to the passenger side, pulled that coil pack out of the way. You kind of have to tilt your wrench, your spark plug socket like a ninja towards the back of your firewall to get it down in there. Once you figure out a good angle to drop it down in there and you get it on, then you can put your ratchet on the end of it and back that spark plug out. I usually break them loose to where I can spin them by hand, and then actually remove them the rest of the way by hand, just so I can make sure that if there's any hot spots or anything's threading or feeling weird, I know that before I reinstall the spark plug. You're gonna figure out what works best for you, but it is a long throw and a deep socket, so it takes a few minutes to spin those things out. The first one, like I said, was relatively straightforward and in and out. Now that numbers 2 and 3, you're gonna see that I had to do a little bit more, I guess, ninja work to get that spark plug out on the end of it. As you'll see here, I'm slipping the spark plug back down on there. I did put the dielectric gel and the boot grease on there to every single one of them. I just didn't take the time to show you guys on all 6 of them because it would have been very, very redundant. So now that I've got the spark plug tightened back up by hand, I'm going to put my ratchet back on there and snug it up, give it that good 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch turn, make sure that it's not going to vibrate its way loose. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the coil pack back on there. This first spark plug socket ratchet comes out just fine, but as you'll see in the other ones, there's a little bit of tilting to get those in. When I installed this first coil pack, it just dropped straight in, pretty much without too much fuss or muss. I put the acorn nut right on, plugged it in, clipped it on, and moved over. You'll see here we took out the acorn nut on the second spark plug first, or the second spark plug before removing this bracket right here. And it was because I didn't know that this bracket was going to be in my way that prevented the coil pack from being taken out. So there's also a 10mm nut on this bracket housing that just allows you to move this hose just off to the side just enough so that you can slide that coil pack right out and get to your spark plug. You'll have to use your wrench, your socket without your ratchet on it to drop it down in there and kind of tilt it back towards your firewall. Once you have the spark plug on the end of it, you have to kind of finesse it. You'll see here, I dropped it down, the middle one went down almost towards the left a little bit to get it out. That way I could actually remove the spark plug, and you'll see me tip it out and then back up. And same thing in reverse, I kind of went to the back left of the firewall and then dropped that spark plug down in there and then tighten it back up by hand. Once I had it good and snug, then I put my ratchet right back on there and cinched it up. You'll get a good feel for this. It's, you know, if you have a torque wrench, you can use that too. I was taught by an old school mechanic, so I don't. Then I put my my second coil pack back on there for the back half of the engine and made sure that it was lubed up with dielectric gel and that it was good and snug with the acorn nut. The key to all this is just take your time and don't get, in a rush. Once you remove that third acorn nut, which is a little bit more of a reach, I am a lefty, so I'm a little lucky here. You can pull that coil pack out pretty simply. It just slides out of the way. What wasn't quite as easy was pulling the clip, because I had to reach over with my right hand and push that thumb clip down, and I'm kind of short. So once I pulled that out of the way and slid it back, then I had a little bit of a challenge getting my spark plug socket down in the hole for the third one. The angle just didn't seem to fit right. What you'll see here is me kind of trying to figure out where it goes, and what I figured out is towards the back, very center, right over top of that wire, the main wire harness right back there. And so once you get the angle on where to do it, you'll see I tip my socket back again to remove the spark plug, back towards the firewall and down. So once you get that, you can pull it out with a little bit of wiggling it back and forth. You just don't have a lot of movement or room in that engine compartment to get that on. So once I got number 3 in, we just snugged it back up and we put the acorn nut back on the coil pack. Once the plug is on, the acorn nut is on, you'll see that your spark plugs have been changed and your coil packs have been replaced. Everything we did from here was reverse order of getting everything put back together. You'll see this piece I just clipped in right here, you guys. I didn't unhook that. My cousin's car was already unhooked. It just clipped right on. And then I put the 10mm bracket back on that hose, tighten that right back down, and from here, we're gonna go back into putting the strut bar back in place. The strut bar right here, if you pause and look right there left by that purple clip, that's the piece that you need to put underneath. So you gotta make sure that the pieces that need to sit on top, like that plastic box sits on top, and there's that clip for the plastic box that hooks onto the strut bar, it just slides over a metal post, that's sitting in the right position. Just want to make sure that your bolts will line up. See right here, I'm pointing to the back. And so from right here, what you need to do is you need to make sure that your strut bar is actually underneath the bracket that is in place because the strut bar is threaded, and so the strut bar goes underneath the bracket. If you look right here, it is on top, and the strut bar has threads in it, and so you need that to be underneath that position so that you can screw through the bracket and into the strut bar. Hopefully you have found this video just a little bit helpful, and if you did, please like and subscribe. It helps out our channel, and hopefully this video has been helpful to you.